Here to talk Suns basketball with us, the president of basketball operations of the Suns, James Jones, our guest on the Arizona Sports Line. James, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me this morning.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Obviously, front office-wise, big move this week. The contract extension for Grayson Allen gets done, obviously deserved with his play this year. Tell us about the importance, James, of getting this deal done now, moving forward for this team.
I think it just solidifies our core for the near future, and it allows us to know with confidence that the team that's investing time and spending time together on the floor during these moments will be together for the foreseeable future, and we can continue to build and build towards a championship contending team for the years to come.
Who knew this basketball team, after an up-and-down regular season, might have saved its best for last? What have you made of Bradley Beal's effort and production the last two games?
I've said multiple times, I think Brad's found his balance and he's kind of stabilized a little bit. It's always tough, extremely tough for high usage, extremely talented players to come in and find that kind of swing role, which is the third in usage. Some nights we need you to be number one. Some nights we need you to be number five. It's really, really difficult. But I think as he's gotten healthier, as he's gotten stronger, and as the season's progressed, he's found his balance. And now he's just out there playing, because with very limited time to get things right at the end of the season, he just got to the point where he's like, it's just time. It's just time for me to go out there and play freely and let my teammates follow my lead.
James Jones, the president of basketball operations for the Suns, our guest here on Bickley and Marotta Mornings. So much has been made of this journey to get to the playoffs, James, and a lot of people just boiled it down to, hey, as long as the Suns are healthy going in, you got to like their chances. That is the case, but I wanted to rewind a year. Last year, the Suns are the 4 seed going into the playoffs, and in a situation with, the late trade with Kevin Durant and getting him acclimated, everybody was hoping it would come together from a chemistry standpoint. It did to a degree. Could you compare this year's team's readiness for the postseason as opposed to last year's? Even though the seed is different, you're going in as the 6 as opposed to the 4, but it just seems like this team is way more ready than last year's team for the postseason.
It is, and it starts at the top. When your two best players are on the same page and they know each other intimately, it makes it a lot easier to have confidence. And it really simplifies things. Like last year, we were trying to figure out who's going to be the guy that we give the keys to at the end of the game. When do we give them? Where do we place them? How do they play together? How do you stagger their minutes? How do you divide their usage? And I think this year, those two have been on such a great page that it's allowed the rest of the team to settle. And so this year, I think more than anything, we're healthy, and the task in front of us is simpler. It's just go out there and compete on the defensive end and let our defense fuel our offense.
Over the last couple of weeks, it seems like your defensive numbers have spiked in the right direction. How do you feel about this team defensively going into the postseason?
Well, I'll tell you, Grayson's play, Nurk's play. I mean, he's been so underrated this year as an interior presence, as a rebounder. And then the addition of Royce O'Neal, it gives us 3 really good defensive-minded players to support our offensive players. And so I think our defense is primed to continue this momentum that we've built, especially because the teams that we're playing are teams we're extremely familiar with, and they want to play a physical style of basketball. And now we have the option to do that as well.
We're speaking with James Jones, GM, president of basketball operations for the Phoenix Suns here on Arizona Sports. Well-publicized criticism when things got bumpy during the season, James, mostly coming from the national media, some from the local media, about the Suns and who's the leader on this team, the subject of leadership. Some people say that this team is lacking in leadership. How would you combat that? How would you respond to that heading into the playoffs?
All teams are different. And the model externally for leaders are guys that talk a lot, guys that make people feel good, that check the boxes that everyone has for what they believe leadership should look like, because the game's best players or historically have been certain types of personalities. But our team is different. Our team is led by guys that love to hoop. I think you lead by action. I don't know if I don't know if there's a team where the top guys are in the gym, where they love the game, where they commit to their craft, They put in the sweat equity like our guys do. And so that's their form of leadership. And rightfully so. When you play poorly, they're going to always question that. And when you play well, they'll question it. So we just don't pay attention to it, and we just continue to try to play good basketball.
You know the appetite and the hunger of the fan base as well as anybody. You know how traumatized they've been by a couple of recent close calls with teams that you have built, with teams that have seemed so close at times to being that team that might hang the banner. Do you what would you say to them about the team's state of readiness? Do you think that there might be that happy ending to this postseason? Do you believe that you've got most of your issues in a good place to really make a good run at this?
I do. I believe we have everything we need to come out victorious and become champions. And I always laugh at people's frustrations when you're setting high expectations. I mean, they're high for a reason. We're trying to do the most difficult thing in sport, which is win a championship, especially in the Western Conference where the teams are exceptionally good, so exceptionally talented. It's just the nature of this business, and we look forward to the challenge. And I truly believe if we can stay healthy and our guys can continue to manage the defensive end, offensively we'll be fine.
James Jones, our guest here on Bickley and Marotta Mornings. I'd love to get your perspective from your playing days, James. There's been so much made about the Suns dominating the Timberwolves, your first-round opponent this season. I think 3 of the better performances of the year all came against the Timberwolves in different ways. Some people say regular season doesn't mean anything. Other people say it's definitely a factor, maybe psychologically, maybe more. How do you weigh all that? Your experience against Minnesota heading into this series and what it all means.
Well, you always want to win more than you lose against an opponent you play in the postseason. So the winning and the success helps because it breeds confidence. But realistically, that team that we've played has been a different team every time we played them, and we've been a different team every time we played them. This will be the first time, they'll put their playoff rotation, their playoff lineups out there, and we'll do the same. So we have to take it one game at a time, just knowing that when you play as well as we played against that team, they start to figure things out, and they'll come out with a crazy effort. We just have to match their intensity. Actually, we need to exceed their intensity and execute better.
First 4 games of that Nuggets playoff series last year, Devin Booker looked like he was becoming or was the best player on the planet. The numbers in those first 4 games were unbelievable. Then he got nicked up, and things kind of got away from you guys at that point in time. Devin has also been, he kind of jarred the fan base a little bit with his chillin' comment the other night. Do you really believe that maybe he's been laying in the weeds a little bit? Do you think maybe we're going to see the best of Devin Booker from this point going forward?
I think we'll see the best of Devin, and I don't think he's been laying in the weeds. I just think when you play at such a high level, like Devin does, you have lulls and you have situations and time periods and time frames where you just don't play your best. And everyone's watching. These guys are human. They're kind of superhuman in a way, but I have no doubt. Like Devin will be locked in, he'll be ready, and he'll perform well in the playoffs.
James, we'd like to thank you for coming on today on the precipice of the playoffs. We really appreciate the time and the insight.
No, man, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. James Jones, Suns president of basketball operations. Our guest, he joined us
The man
here.
they call champ, Vinny.
Yes. Can he add one this year?
Yeah, it would be nice.
He joined us on the Arizona Sports Line.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.